Hey guys, before we get this show started, let's give a shout out to our top dog, our number one draft pick from Ohio State, Josh All. He survived another spin around the sun, so happy birthday. And guess what, man? You're in great company. Hall of Famer Art Donovan shares your birthday. So does soon-to-be Hall of Famer Torrey Holt and Marcus Colston. So I'm sure you're a number one draft pick like those guys. But let's get this party started. Let's go, Dogs. Woo, 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 woo.
Welcome to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Dawgs. If you want to get your intro in the show, head to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. As you heard from Kenny Mack, Josh is a year older since the last time you saw him. Still look good.
A whole year, yeah, I know, right?
I think I'm seeing some grays come in, though.
Oh, they're coming in fast and furious.
I see a sweet beard coming in. That's what I see, bro.
Fun story.
Not like yours, though.
Oh, shit.
Jeez.
Josh is actually like, 12 days older than me, but I somehow graduated a year ahead of you.
Yeah, I know.
But so that was just me dropping hints, guys. My birthday's also right around the corner.
That's right, yeah.
So,
get your intro in for Blake.
Yeah, or gifts. Cash at me, bro. So today we're going to break down the AFC North. As you can see, though, before we get into all that, we brought Jon Nye back. Everybody seemed to like him. The YouTube comments were positive. I was kind of surprised. I thought you guys were going to rip him. I'm just messing with you. But we decided to bring him back for another episode. Hopefully he continues doing well, and maybe he'll earn his way into the intro one day. Before we break down the AFC North, though, remember to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We're getting close to 5,000 subscribers on TikTok. So if you like us on there and you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. That'd be a cool milestone for us. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. Big shout out to everybody who helped us get to 4,000 subscribers this past week on YouTube. It's a big milestone for us. We hit 1,000 just right around draft time last year. So the fact that we've tripled our show, quadrupled our show, subscribers in just a little bit over a year. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So we really appreciate that to everybody who subscribed. If you haven't subscribed and you are listening, make sure you do so. If you prefer to just listen to the podcast, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Lastly, if you're looking for more content, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on our Patreon page. We're in the process of kind of beefing up the Patreon. We started it, didn't think anybody'd ever join, and now we're starting to get like a decent amount of subscribers on there. Yeah. So we're trying to make it sweet. I just started Music Mondays.
It was good.
Yeah,
was
so
good.
Basically whatever people are listening to that day or their favorite music artist, they drop the YouTube link in there. It's a good way for everybody to learn some new music, get to meet people. There's an extra episode every week. I'm making threads in there all the time for people to comment on. We're getting closer to the fantasy football season. I think we have enough people to do 3 full leagues right now. We only need a couple more people and we could do 4 leagues. So if you're interested in fantasy football, make sure you jump in. And then if you just like having access to us and kind of like a 24-hour lifeline to Browns fans around the world, it's kind of the place to be. So jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member.
Blake's trying his hand at some writing.
Yeah. I wrote a blog for a website, and then he lets me post it in there, so you get to read my blogs. I think it was pretty funny.
I thought it was all right.
Solid.
I chuckled a few times.
It was the first time I've ever written anything other than like these show outlines that are littered with grammatical errors and no punctuation. So.
Well, you mean your blog post is the same way, but it's
100%. I'm definitely not. I'm not a writer. I haven't been in high school in a long time. I don't remember any of that stuff. Before we get into breaking down the AFC North today, we wanted to talk about the running backs on the Browns team. Dearness Johnson signs a 1-year deal to stay with the Browns. It was worth up to $2 million, I think. 2.4 million. Are we surprised that there wasn't anything else out there? I guess he actually fired his agent because he was looking for a bigger payday from somebody, and it never came. And he was still sitting there, so he signed with the Browns for another 1-year deal.
Well, how'd that work, though? Because we tendered him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We could have matched any offer.
Right.
But
nothing came in.
Nothing came in.
I think it just shows you the value of running back in the league, which goes back to our keep cut trade last week, where some of those situations, it sucks, but the running back is the least valuable position in a lot of those scenarios.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, though. I mean, I know it's been limited action throughout his career, but every time he's played significant minutes in a game, he's produced.
Oh, yeah.
I thought for sure he'd get, I'm not talking crazy money, but a couple year deal, like low, maybe like a $6 million 3-year deal or something, $2 million a year. So I was kind of surprised. I was actually so shocked, though, that like whenever he texted it, I thought he was already still on our team. Like I had completely even forgotten about him. So maybe all these other teams just forgot about him too. So then that brought me to the question a lot of people have been talking about on our YouTube comments and on TikTok is what running back isn't going to make the team this year? Because we carried 5 last year. One, do you guys still think we carry 5 this year? And we have Chubb, Hunt, Felton, rookie Jerome Ford, fullback Johnny Stanton, and then we still have John Kelly on the roster this year. John Kelly actually came in and was running back 2 the week that Dearness started for the Broncos. So who somebody's probably going to get cut. Who do you guys think it is?
Good.
All right, man. So I think there's some obvious ones here. I think you have Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's not going anywhere. Kareem Hunt, you kind of hear him getting talked about with like trade discussions, you know, like what we could possibly get for Kareem Hunt, you know, maybe like a 3rd or 4th. They got Johnson now. They drafted Jerome Ford. Felton is only in his 2nd year, so I feel like he's, you know, we should give him the opportunity to see what happens developmentally, you know, what he does. But like, so I was looking at it and I'm like, you know, Kareem Hunt's kind of like that X factor. You know, he's like, he can burn you as a running back. He can catch, you know, balls out of the back. So for me, you know, you draft Jerome Ford, who's nice. I mean, he is a shifty running back. His like little like left to right juke, like it's so explosive. Like he just kind of just leaves guys hanging off of him and he's just gone. So I really thought about this. It came down to like, what's the trade value for Kareem Hunt? What's the trade value for Dearness Johnson? And I thought about it. And at the end of the day, I think, you know, obviously Johnson's 26, Hunt's 27. There's not a big age difference. You're going to get probably a little bit more in the, you know, for draft picks for Hunt. But I think even with them just signing him, if there's an injury, I think Dearness Johnson is the one that gets moved out as far as a trade. I think Jerome Ford, as much as you know, you don't want to throw a rookie into that situation, I think he could step into that position. And then a lot of people are saying Demetric Felton's getting cut. For me, he's Kareem Hunt next year. Like he can be that guy. He can catch balls out of the backfield. So I could see Dearness Johnson getting traded out. I don't think we're going to get a lot for him. Maybe a 6th, a 7th, you know, maybe just get a little of that draft capital back. I think Felton stays. Ford is obviously going to be on. I think we keep Hunt for this last year and then he makes not big money, but he goes somewhere. And then I think Johnny Stanton is like, he's always been kind of a practice squad guy. He comes up, he comes down, he comes up. Weird thing with him though is like he played tight end last year in preseason. I'm not saying that they're going to do this. I think they go get a veteran, but I think it's interesting if I don't even know the guy's name, basketball player guy. We should really look his name up and not call him the basketball guy. But like let's say that doesn't work out and maybe you don't get an Ebron or a Kyle Rudolph. Could we use him as a 3rd maybe and a tough spot if there's injuries?
Was it Marcus Santos Silva?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. See, we're good.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Chubb stays. I think Hunt makes it through the season, goes somewhere else next year. I think if there's an injury, Johnson gets traded, Jerome Ford steps in, Felton steps into Kareem Hunt's role next year.
Yeah, I definitely think Chubb and Hunt are here this year for sure. I think the Browns are going all in on this year. I think they think Watson's going to play, if not all, a significant portion of this season. I mean, they're throwing around a lot of money this year. You'd think if they had some kind of inclination otherwise, that wouldn't be the case.
No, I was talking to somebody today and I said, if Deshaun Watson gets suspended for the whole year, which I think is ludicrous, these people talking about that right now, but if that were to happen, then I think you see Kareem Hunt probably get moved pretty quickly because why keep him on 1 year when you know you can get draft capital for him?
What do you think you'd get for Kareem Hunt?
What do I think? Probably what Justin said, maybe a 4th, third,
fourth.
maybe at best. Yeah. Depends on what team has guys go down in camp and really needs a running back.
He can be a number 1. We've seen him in the number 1, you know, in that spot.
So I think...
But that's, like I said, that's only if that crazy situation happens, which, like you said, I don't think is going to happen.
I think John Kelly will probably get practice squatted again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Deshaun Watson plays this whole year or a significant part of it. I don't know if we keep a fullback this year.
I don't think so either.
Because we heard a lot about when Stefanski came in about how much he loved the fullback, and we used him a decent amount. We used Andy Janovich a decent amount Stefanski's first year. But last year, we didn't use the fullback that much. And I feel like you'll see it even less with Deshaun because we're going to be way more 3 wide receiver sets and Njoku out there with Chubb or Hunt in the backfield. So I don't know if we keep Stanton. I do think if there's one to move, it would be Dearness Johnson. But even though we just signed him, I just don't know. There's going to have to be a decent amount of significant injuries to running backs for there to be any kind of market for him.
I don't have a whole lot to add to that, but I actually think we're going to keep Dearness Johnson because we're probably going to anticipate Hunt not being here next year. This year is probably going to be here the whole year, like you said. We're going all in, so we're going to keep Hunt. But I'm not sure he's going to be back the following year, so I think we want to keep Dearness.
To be the number 2 next year?
Yes.
What do you think? We're going to test your knowledge here. If we keep Dearness, do you think then – why do you think we drafted Ford? To be the 3rd string, or did we draft him to be the 2nd string?
Possibly a speculative pick. I mean, he might not pan out.
This is true. I mean, the draft's a crapshoot. And if you can keep Dearness, I guess we all assume Dearness wouldn't be back because there'd be a hot market for him. But if there's not, why wouldn't you keep him?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's sort of like, Hollywood Higgins, he had like a decent year and then tested free agency and there was really no market, so he came back.
Yeah, so everybody's assuming Dearness and Hunt are gone next year. I would be shocked if Kareem Hunt is back next year. And I think he's really important and he's very good, but you just can't keep you can't keep all these people together forever.
The only way Hunt's back next year is if he somehow is like very agreeable to a team-friendly deal to continue in his role because he loves playing with Nick Chubb.
Which, in 100% honesty, I think that could happen because he likes being – one, we gave him his shot.
Yep.
We gave him his second shot. He's an Ohio kid. Mm-hmm. And so he loves being in Cleveland. And then him and Nick Chubb, they're kind of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde or whatever with each other.
Yeah.
Like Nick Chubb never says anything and Kareem Hunt is very flamboyant and, kind of like a hoorah guy. But they just – I guess they're like best friends.
Well, and you think about like a duo like that at the running back position, especially, they can like increase the longevity of each other's career.
Oh, for sure.
Because neither one of them has to take a full workload all the time. So, they could maybe play 2 or 3 extra years that they might not have otherwise.
They're so complementary together. It's crazy.
I only see him getting better as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the run game this year is going to be out of this world.
I do too.
It's going to be out of this world. I will say, a lot of people think Felton's the odd guy out because they're saying he's not a traditional running back. Well, one, we haven't really seen us try to do that yet. Will we? I don't know. He had a chance to be the number 2 back last year in that Denver game, and we brought John Kelly off the practice squad to do it. So maybe the Browns don't see him that way either. But we're not very deep at receiver.
Right. And I think that's where he's going to make up his playing time.
I'm looking at this wide receiver depth chart, and to be honest, guys, like we got a Cooper, Schwartz, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jakeem Grant, David Bell, and Jamarcus Bradley. I mean, Jakeem Grant is not like a career. You don't want to be depending on him to be a wide receiver.
Right.
Jamarcus Bradley has shown flashes, but again –
but I don't want to bank this year on flashes.
Exactly. And then we got Michael Woods, Javon Wims, Mike Hardley, and Travell Harris. The only reason I've heard of Michael Woods is because we just drafted him.
Yeah.
And he's definitely seen as like a project guy. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be ready most likely. So I think if you can throw Felton in there as a receiver, that would be – we're not deep there. One of these guys goes down, we're kind of in trouble.
Yeah, I would honestly be shocked if Felton didn't make the team.
Yes, we haven't seen Andrew Berry cut a draft like one of his draft picks yet. Mm-mm. I would be shocked to see us give up on him after one season.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening at all.
Especially when he did show burst last year.
Yeah, get the guy the ball.
Mm-hmm. That was the problem with a lot of our players last year. Get him the ball. Yeah, let him do something.
In Njoku, he showed flashes, but he never got the ball. Well, Felton showed not as many flashes as Njoku, but there were still times, especially in the preseason, it seemed like every time he touched the ball, like, holy crap, you might take it to the house this time.
Yeah.
So,
and that touchdown against the Texans was awesome.
Where he's just dragging whoever was hanging on him.
So I think so. I'm keeping Chubb, Hunt, Felton, and Ford. And then I think Stanton gets cut, and I think John Kelly goes to the practice squad.
What about Dearness Johnson? You didn't mention him. See?
So we kept now it says we kept 5 last year, but I'm pretty sure like John Kelly was on the practice squad most of the time. How many do you think do you think Dearness Johnson's active every week?
I could honestly see the season starting out with Jerome Ford practice squad.
You gotta be careful on the practice squad
because somebody can come sign him. Yeah.
Now you could just have them. Can you just have them not active?
I think so.
Just
without being on the practice squad,
like a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
That still takes a roster spot, I think.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
So
absolutely.
So might as well.
But I just don't see like Ford's not getting cut this year. They wouldn't have drafted him. You know, and I don't think Felton. This is tough. The resigning of Dearness Johnson is a little surprising to me.
I think the 4. I think it would be Chubb, Hunt, Ford, and Johnson. And I think Felton's almost like your hybrid guy.
And they're just kind of considering him.
You could list him as a running back if you want to, but you might as well count him as the wide receiver depth chart.
Okay.
That's what I would.
That makes more sense. Think. And then Staten cut John Kelly practice squad.
I would agree with that.
Let us know what you guys think. That's the way we kind of see it shaking down. Kind of an embarrassment of riches at the running back position for the Browns.
And you think about some teams like Atlanta. Like last year they had like nobody besides Patterson, but he was playing receiver too. And then they got
lucky with Patterson. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's 30 years old. No running back breaks out at 30. Yeah. So, yeah, they did.
One thing, just looking at this depth chart, which I didn't have this on the show outline, so I'm surprising you guys. We talked about this a little bit last week. We need another tight end.
Yeah.
And we need it bad.
Mm-hmm.
We need it very bad. We need somebody because Miller Forrestal and Marcus Santos Silva, I'm sorry, I'm not banking a lot on getting anything from them.
Yeah.
This Marcus Santos Silva was playing basketball 6 months ago.
The good thing is the free agent market or what's available right now at tight end. I mean, we'll get somebody with some experience, you know.
Are you a little surprised that we haven't yet? Mandatory minicamp is starting for teams this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is Andrew Berry. I mean, these positions, like you saw with Clowney and stuff, he knows what he's doing.
Do we have the list of available tight ends? Can we pull it up?
I can bring them up.
I know the one I said was Eric Ebron. Are there any other big names out there?
Rudolph. I mean, I don't know if that's a big name, but it's a nice veteran, you know.
And he'd have experience, with Stefanski in the system.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'm working on it.
Jared Cook is a free agent. Jared Cook, I always have liked Jared Cook, and I feel like as long as the quarterback play is good, like when he had Drew Brees and then he did the Chargers last year, and he wasn't super, super productive with the Chargers last year, but when he's your third tight end, do you really need?
Yeah, so Ebron, you said Rudolph. There's Blake Jarwin's out there, Jared Cook, Jesse James, kind of a journey guy, but I think could fill a role on this, definitely on our roster.
Do you have a preference? To me, Jarwin potentially has the most upside.
I would take a swing on Jarwin,
but he's just the injury factor. If we're going to bring a guy in, it's because we need him. I mean, like I said, we're supposed to be a team that likes 3 tight end sets. As of now, I'm not seeing any 3 tight end sets.
Steven Carlson's out there.
Really?
Yeah. Demetrius Harris.
Well, who knows too? That with Deshaun Watson, that the offense isn't going to evolve in kind of a. I know,
I agree.
Keep hearing we're still a running back first kind of team, and I do believe that, but I'm hearing Browns radio say, we're going to run the ball a lot still, and we're just going to kind of use Watson sparingly. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. No. And their argument too was hey, he threw for 5,000 yards with the Texans his last year, and they were 4-12, which, that's fair, but also that team was kind of garbage.
Well, he can't play defense too.
Yeah, and the year before, that's the other thing. People are like, you just don't want him to air the ball too much. The year before, they were in the AFC Championship, so
I don't think he's going to throw the ball 50 times a game, but we're going to throw the ball more than we run the ball this year. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
You didn't bring him in with all those draft picks traded away and all that money.
To watch him hand the ball off.
No.
So that's kind of some of the position needs we just kind of stumbled upon while looking at the depth chart. Tight end, go get somebody, because that is rough. That is, and that's with Harrison Bryant at your number 2, who, to be quite honest, we don't know if he's ready. We don't know if he's ready to be a guy who sees 30 plus snaps a game.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, there's one in all honesty, Njoku's unproven-ish.
It's fair.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
very
we just
fair.
gave him the big contract, but he's slightly unproven. So the tight end position for a coach who supposedly loves the tight ends, it's thin, very thin.
Hey, Browns fans, are you ready for the NBA champs to be crowned? Join the finals action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA bet and get $150 in free bets instantly. Looking to turn another small bet into a big payday during the NBA Finals? With a DraftKings same-game parlay, you can do just that. This NBA season, a customer actually placed a $5 same-game parlay, and they won over $5,000. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets like which team will win, total threes made, total rebounds, and more, and boom, you have a shot at an even bigger payout. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, use promo code TPPN, make any $5 bet during the NBA Finals and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code TPPN, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
So that's going to bring us up to the AFC North blind breakdown. So the way we did this, we all picked a team, and we gave John the Browns because he's the new guy, so we let him have the hometown team. And then we did a random name generator for the rest of us for what team we got. So we know what teams we have. John got the Browns, I had the Steelers, Josh had the Ravens, Justin had the Bengals. But we don't know what we picked as their records.
Right.
So this is going to be, when we reveal this to you guys, this is going to be a surprise to all of us. So the way this is going to work, we're going to go around the table and we're going to tell you what we think, how the AFC North will finish at the end of the season, who's going to win it second, third, and fourth. And then we will go around and reveal our records to see what it's actually going to be based on those records. And then we will kind of pick and play and debate who was right and who was wrong. So who wants to go first? What about you? You want to go?
Yeah, quickly. I think it's going to be Browns first, Bengals second, Steelers third, Ravens fourth. I think the Ravens are the one team that goes under 500 this year.
All right.
Wow.
All
Did
right.
you look at their schedule?
You're
Did
going
you
to
look at their
like my
schedule before
predictions
you
over
did
here,
that?
man. All right.
Oh, my. Ay, ay, ay. Go ahead, Blake.
Justin's sold on the Ravens having this super easy schedule. I don't
Their
think it's that
schedule
easy.
is-
Dude, I went through their schedule. It's not that easy. Come on.
No.
It is tough. There's some tough games, but there's a lot of very easy games.
there's-
We'll see. So then originally I was on the same line as John as far as how it would finish, but I had the Steelers, so I went through their schedule and picked the wins and losses. So now I had the Steelers finishing second.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of, and I still think that. So I'm going to go Browns, Steelers, Bengals, Ravens.
Can I ask John a quick question about his schedule? How many games do you think Deshaun Watson gets suspended? Because I think that's a big part of where the Browns finish.
You know, I really thought it would take a lot of time to come up with two different predictions. So I came up with a prediction based on no suspension.
Okay. So that kind of changes things a little bit for me. So I will go Browns, Ravens, Cincy, Pitt. And I'll stick with that.
And I think I'm going with John here. Browns, Bengals, Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
You're putting a
Dead
lot
last.
of faith in that no-fly zone in Baltimore.
That's right. That's right.
the Great.
You're gonna have about 27 messages about that no-fly zone.
Lamar the Great's coming for all of us.
So we got what? All of us said the Browns are winning it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I said Steelers second. You guys had Bengals
Bengals,
second.
yeah.
And he's got Ravens, yeah.
So I'll just go first, kind of pay the way. So I had the Steelers. I have the Steelers finishing 9-8 with losses at Cincinnati, at Miami, at home against Cincinnati, Las Vegas, at Baltimore, and Cleveland at the end of the year. Those are their 8 losses. So I got them at 9-8. What do you got the Browns at?
All right, so I'll just run through this as quickly as I can. You guys are going to fight me on this first one. I do think we're winning week 1 at Carolina. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk because I think we're going to be a bit rusty, and I think Carolina's going to want to be that team to kind of prove that the Browns aren't all that. They're really going to be coming at us hard, and early reports I'm reading are that CMC is going to be 100% healthy, and there's no defense that's immune to CMC.
Who's playing quarterback?
Sam Darnold.
Okay.
He's I almost said a swear word. Jeez.
So here's my early prediction for week 1 is I think we trail slightly at halftime and then kill them in the second half.
Okay. So what do you got for them finishing the season?
Okay, so all right, I guess I won't go through every game, but I do want to say a few things here. I've got us going 14-3. I think
God.
Wow.
I think we're losing to Buffalo. I've got us losing to the Chargers, and I just kind of have a few question marks around here, but I've got us sweeping the Bengals.
Again.
I almost had us losing to the Bengals in Cincinnati, but just not feeling it. I think we're going to beat them.
We did beat them twice last year with Baker at quarterback.
Thursday Night Football against the Steelers, I think we're going to destroy them. That's at home. That's going to be a super fun game. Halloween night against the Bengals in Cleveland. The note I put in here is I think that's a game of the year candidate. Mm-hmm. And there's a random game I think we could lose, and it's off the bye at Miami. I just don't.
Sure.
I think
because you don't know what Miami's really going to be.
Yeah.
They're a very interesting team, and we're going to be like, I think we're going to be, every time we're coming off a win streak, playing a decent team, we might be a little too comfortable.
You know what Miami reminds me of this year is the 2020 Browns. They're kind of loaded with talent within just a question mark at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get good play out of the quarterback that year, we saw what the Browns did.
Yeah.
So, Miami could do something similar to what the 2020 Browns did.
And there's always games every week that a team loses, and you're like, what? What? You know? So
I feel like it's always like the primetime game, too.
My original hot take going into this was going to be that the Browns don't lose at home this year, but I think the Chargers might come get us. So I think that's our one home loss. So my new hot take is I think the Browns just win out the last 7 games.
Oh, my God.
I like it.
I do too.
Go ahead, Josh. Or who wants to go?
Doesn't matter. You want to go, bro, or you want me to go?
I'll save the Ravens for last because I know you're going to not agree with it.
It's fine. So I have Cincinnati going 9-8, 3-3 in the division. They beefed up their offensive line a little bit. They added Hayden Hurst, from Atlanta to replace CJ. What's his name?
Uzama.
Yeah, Uzama. So for their record, I'll just break it down real quick. I have them winning at home week 1 against the Steelers, losing to Dallas, beating the Jets in New York, beating Miami at home. I have them losing to Baltimore, in Baltimore. Saints, I have them beating Atlanta, losing to Cleveland in Cleveland, beating Carolina, then losing to Steelers, losing to Tennessee, losing to the Chiefs, beating Cleveland and Cincinnati, losing to Tampa Bay, beating New England, losing to Buffalo, and then beating Baltimore last game of the season. So 9-8, 3-3 in the division.
They do have a tougher schedule. I mean, that's what you
brutal.
Get.
It is brutal.
I don't know if they lose to the Ravens or the Steelers though. I mean, they just cakewalked over them last year.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
This division's going to be fun to watch this year.
We'll see. All right, go ahead. Before we get into it, then, what do you got?
All right, so the Ravens, I've got them going, scroll down here, 8-9 on the season.
Oh, boy.
They start out with 2 wins, the Jets and the Dolphins, followed by a couple losses, the Patriots, the Bills, the Bengals, and then they get a win against the Giants, lose to the Browns, of course, lose to the Bucks, lose to the Saints, and then they're 3-6 at the bye. I just made a couple notes in here. I said Aaron Butler still has this team in the Super Bowl at this point. Division champs at the worst. Lamar has also had a couple heated incidents with coaches and or players on the sidelines, and ESPN continues to loop that, and he's now wearing the towel over his head more times than he's not. All right, so coming out of the bye, they do get a win against the Panthers because they blow. They beat the Jaguars, and then they get absolutely smashed by the Broncos, beat the Steelers, lose to the Browns again, beat the Falcons, and then lose to the Steelers, and they beat the Bengals the last game. Hey, Browns fans, here's a little gift-giving wisdom from Omaha Steaks. Dads want steaks. And with Father's Day right around the corner, there isn't a better gift than Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com and type in Dawgs, D-A-W-G-S, in the search bar and order the Dads Want Steaks package today. For just $99, this limited time package includes 16 mouth-watering entrees that your dad is guaranteed to love. They got the smoky, tender bacon-wrapped filet mignons, gourmet jumbo franks, air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, and for a sweet finish, delicious caramel apple tartlets. I'm getting hungry just thinking about them. And as a special gift for our listeners, when you go to omahasteaks.com and search the Dawgs Podcast in the search bar, order the Dads Want Steaks package, and you also get 8 free Omaha Steaks burgers. The burgers are full of bold, beefy flavor made from 100% Omaha steaks, and they're now bigger than ever at a whopping 6 ounces. Don't wait. Send Dad more than just a gift. Send him an experience of love and that he can share with you. Go to omahasteaks.com, type Dawgs into the search bar, order the Dads Want Steaks package today, and you'll get those 16 entrees, 4 desserts, plus the 8 free Omaha Steak burgers today. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life, guaranteed. That's omahasteaks.com. Search Dawgs in the search bar.
So based on this, so that was completely blind. We did not talk to each other beforehand to like line it up the way we wanted to, but that's the way we wanted. We just wanted to see how the division was going to shake down based on us picking each team. So the consensus then is the Browns are going to win the division at 14-3, which I think we all agreed the Browns were going to win. I don't know if it's going to be at 14-3. Then a tied for second place at 9-8 is the Bengals and the Steelers, and then the Ravens finishing last place at 8-9. To me, honest to God, besides the Browns being 14-3, this is kind of how I see the division going. I see first place getting maybe 11 or 12 wins, and fourth place having 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I don't think any team is going to bomb. That's just the way I feel. So then why don't we go through here and let's just start with the Browns, and let's just look at who did you have them losing to?
Chargers, Buffalo, and potentially Miami. Yeah, actually, the first thing I wrote is I think we're going to go 12-5, 13-4, or 14-3, and I really didn't know who I was going to give our losses to. The biggest one I wrote that was more hopeful than confident was away, like against Cincinnati, in Cincinnati. I think that's a game we could come out and lose, but I'm still picking us to win.
So if I'm going to play some devil's advocate here,
go ahead.
I think I did the Steelers. I had the Steelers winning this first game because I went under the assumption of Deshaun having a 4-game suspension.
Okay.
So if Deshaun plays, then I think we win that game.
Are you talking Thursday night?
Yes.
Week 3.
Okay.
Week 3. I think the Chargers, you had us winning against the Chargers or losing? Losing. And then you had us beating the Patriots.
I do have us beating the Patriots. I did say never underestimate Bill.
I think hot take this year, I think the Patriots might be a little bit of a dumpster fire. I think last year was kind of an aberration. I think Josh McDaniels, losing him is going to be a way bigger impact than what people think. I heard a rumor that Matt Patricia is going to call plays.
Really?
I don't see that. I don't see that working out. I see a sophomore slump from Mac Jones. We already saw, I think last year we almost saw like the best of Mac Jones, and it was a very low ceiling. He has like a higher floor, but his ceiling's not that high, in my opinion. And I think he's going to have a sophomore slump now that there's a whole season of tape out on him. They still have no weapons.
No, none.
None. They still have no weapons. So I don't think the Patriots are going to be that good this year.
Now, speaking of weapons, though, you had us beating the Buccaneers?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask him, too.
Okay.
Home game, I mean.
That's why, really, it's home field advantage. I think that's, if we were away, I would probably have picked them to beat us.
I keep thinking like Father Time's going to catch up with him too, and he just keeps coming out and
everybody
slinging.
thinks that. Everyone's always wrong.
I know.
So if I was going to pick another loss, I'd probably go that Buccaneers game, and then I would probably do one of the Ravens games. Did you have a splitting with the Ravens?
I did not. I was
Sweep.
writing this schedule down. My prediction I was about to write, we lose in Baltimore. And I was like, this is a Browns podcast. I'm not doing that.
Way to handle your second episode well.
All right. So let us know what you guys think. Is John spot on at 14-3, or is he a little overzealous? The one I really want to get to is, because I think this is a hot take. A lot of us had the Ravens finishing last, and then that's what it came up to. Why do you guys think the Ravens are finishing last, and why do you have them finishing second?
So, do you guys want to go first?
I'll say this
Let me
quickly.
pull the schedule up real quick.
Lamar, the Ravens have been great with Lamar because Lamar has confused defenses his entire career. He was not confusing defenses last year before he got hurt. He was throwing a lot of picks. He was getting sacked. They just didn't look like that 14-2 type of team anymore to me. They weren't Super Bowl favorites. Lamar wasn't an MVP candidate, not even close. So, I don't see him coming out and just beating people up this year.
So what about you, Josh? You're the one who broke them down game by game. Why'd you have them going 8-9?
Because just going through the schedule and thinking about their offense, when we've talked about it, they don't have the weapons. And even if they did have a couple of decent receivers out there to be a threat, Lamar, like you said, John, he was kind of regressing last year. And I think it continues this year. I think the league has figured him out. I think the older he gets, the less, his running ability is going to be as effective. And we already know that throwing the ball is not his strong suit.
So in terms of his running ability, I think he's still going to be as explosive as ever. He's not that old. He's only, 20?
No, but I think that, we saw him get injured last year.
Okay.
I think the league has figured him out. I think it's
not his physical ability. It's the defensive scheme now.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest thing, and I know they're getting all their running backs back, but all three of them are coming off of season-ending injuries.
Right, so they're not fresh.
You know what I mean? All three of them are coming. Lamar's coming out. He missed the last how many games, right?
Yeah, I forget how many it was, but it was a lot.
He's coming off a season-ending injury. So their entire offense is predicated on the run game, and they're all coming off season-ending injuries. Mm-hmm. They lost their number one wide receiver.
Yep.
And I know you're not a throwing team, but it's a throwing league. Tell me, outside of maybe the Niners, tell me the team that can't throw the ball that is good.
Didn't work for us last year.
No, I mean, and the Ravens have been able to do it, but in seasons in which their running backs weren't coming off season-ending injuries, they had at least somewhat of a number one wide receiver. I also think the fact that Lamar is not extended yet tells you something. Is a big distraction for the whole season. He goes into the season. What happens if he has a couple rough games? He was leading the league in interceptions before he got hurt. And if that's the case now there's the distraction. The media, is he playing his way out of a contract? Are they going to suspend him? So they can, I know Aaron Butler is going to tell me all about how much these guys weigh and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I just think there's a lot working against them. Now, I do think Lamar is super electric with the ball in his hands. I think they have like a Hall of Fame coach.
Oh, for sure.
They have a Hall of Fame kicker. So that's why I think if you look at their roster on paper on the offensive side, the defensive side, they're going to be
always good on defense.
But I think they're not a very good football team on that side. But I think Lamar is electric, and it's hard to game plan for him, and I think they have a great coach. So that's why I think they win 8 games or 9 and not 4.
That's exactly what I said too. And for me, a lot of these games were just their lack of ability to put up enough points to beat some of these other teams. I just don't think that they have the offensive firepower to go score big points real quick. And I've seen Lamar over the years when things don't go his way in a game, when things are chips are down and it's rough. He's got kind of a poor attitude. He kind of throws a fit. You can kind of see it from time to time. And I think, some of these tough situations piling on top of each other, it's going to really come down hard on him. And I along with the no contract and all that stuff too, I think it's all going to weigh in.
So now Justin's the one guy here who has him finishing second.
So here's my only argument with it, and it really comes down to just strength of the division. Our division is very good. I see all of the AFC North teams. I don't think anybody's sweeping the North. I think it's going to be very 4-2, 3-3, that kind of deal. They have 6 games that are basically, I don't want to say they're gimmies because you still got to play the game, but they have games against, let's see, Atlanta, the Jets, the Jaguars, the Giants, Carolina. And then, so there's 5 right there. I think that they're going to get a few division wins, at least, let's say 2. I'm not saying that they're going to be all worldly. That's not my argument. All I'm saying is I think that they're going to be very good on defense, and they're going to be in some games and Lord knows when they're in games, guess what? Justin Tucker goes out there and kicks a 60-yarder and they walk off and celebrate. So, like, until I'm like one of those people, like, until I'm proven that they're immediately falling off, and they did last year, but they were super banged up. That, like, they were one of those teams that literally couldn't get away from an injury. Like, they lost all their running backs before the season even started, basically. Like, we kept, like, I don't want to say we were laughing, but we're like, man, another one's down. Like, all I kept thinking was, like, oof, who's the fifth string running back that I can pick up in fantasy now? Because he's going to get touches in this system. But I'm not saying they're going to go and win 12 games. I'm not saying anything like that. The argument is, I have them at 2. You guys have them at 4. I don't think the gap, literally, we've already said the gap is a game. And they have 6. I don't want to call them gimme games because the crazy things happen. But they are a lot easier than some of the teams that the Bengals have to play, that the Browns have to play, that the Steelers have to play. So, to me, a team that has shown that they can win close games and be competitive, the fact that they have a cakewalk schedule, like for 6 of those games are super easy. That's my argument.
Remember how many games last year though they won that they shouldn't have won?
Yes.
Yeah, and they won all of them.
Like they were 8-3 at one point, and over half of those wins were like against the Lions. Shouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
but they're playing those teams.
Yeah, but so if I'm looking at their schedule here, okay, I'm seeing potential losses at Miami. Here's another thing about the rate. Last year, they got to play all these games at home. They play a lot of these games on the road this year. I'm seeing potential losses: Miami, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Tampa Bay, the Saints, Denver, Pittsburgh, Cleveland again, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. That's 11 potential losses. Say they'll probably win 1 or 2 of those. That's 9 losses.
Which is right where I had them.
Correct.
Yep.
I don't think their schedule is that big of a cakewalk schedule. I mean,
I'm not saying it's a complete cakewalk. I'm just saying they have a lot of easy games, a lot easier games than the Bengals and the Steelers and the Browns.
So I did the Steelers. So let's go look at the Steelers then. So I actually think the Steelers are going to be. I had them finishing second if I was going to do it, and I think it's because they made the playoffs last year with Big Ben. And their roster improved, and they got significantly better at quarterback. Now, Mitch Trubisky isn't exactly, he is a one-time Pro Bowler, and you don't necessarily know what you're going to get out of him, but I know what you're getting is better than what Big Ben was last year.
It's got to be.
And I think he opens up a dynamic for their offense that they haven't had in a couple seasons as far as the quarterback can run.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at games for the Steelers, I had them losing. I'll just pull it up. I had them losing Week 1, Cincinnati, and then I had them winning 3 in a row, New England, Cleveland, and New York. Then I had them losing 3 in a row, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Miami. Then I had them winning 2, the Eagles and the Saints. Now, those 2 games are games that they could potentially lose, depending on Jalen Hurts this year with the Eagles, and depending on the Saints. I don't know what to expect out of them.
Right.
Losing Sean Payton. Is Jameis Winston going to be good off injury? What's Chris Olave like? And then I have them losing to the Bengals again. Then I have them going on a run. Indy, Atlanta, Baltimore, Carolina. I have them winning 4 in a row before I have them losing 3 in a row. Vegas, Baltimore, and us again. I do think some of these games I picked as wins, iffy, but I also think some of these games I picked as losses, they could win. Like they could beat Cincinnati, and I have them losing both of them. Mm-hmm. And I think they can beat Cincinnati. I picked them to lose to Cincinnati both, though, just because Cincinnati dog whipped them last year twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even though I think their offense got better, they're still trotting out the same defense that Joe Burrow shredded twice. So, but I just think they're going to be much improved. They're kind of like everybody's pick to finish 4th. And again, we've talked about how the gap is little, but I don't see him having a losing season. Mike Tomlin's literally never had one.
That plays a big factor into my prediction too of them not finishing last.
Yeah, they've literally never finished. They've never had a losing season since he's been there.
I think it depends on what Mitch does too. I mean, if Mitch comes out and plays really, really well, they could be
really good.
A 12-5 type team. They could win the division. I mean,
but like we said, this could be a Russ, Matt Flynn type situation too, where Kenny Pickett in the preseason is like, holy crap, this guy's good. But
everybody looks good in the preseason, bro. Everybody looks that. Man, Zach Wilson looked like a straight savage in preseason. He was just hitting everybody, and then the season started, and it was like, oh, you mean these are the real starters that I have to play? Oh, this sucks.
I just don't see I don't see that happening.
I don't
There's
either,
very few
but-
Russell Wilsons in the world.
I don't think franchise are going to.
And I almost feel like they picked Kenny Pickett just because like they felt like they had to. It seemed way out of character for me. There's been way better quarterbacks the last few years that they could have picked to sit behind Ben, and then this is the year that I feel like they reached to take one. I don't know. That felt out of character for me.
It did.
So,
I agree.
Let us know what you guys think here. 9-8 for the Steelers, 9-8 for the Bengals, 8-9 for the Ravens. I know people are going to freak out about the Ravens.
That's fine.
I really think.
What'd they finish last year?
I don't know off the top of my head.
8-9.
Now here's the thing, like you said, we had a ton of injury. They had a ton of injuries last year, and again, when we say first and last, we're talking 2-3 games max. We don't think anybody is going to bottom out here and be a 3-win team,
Right.
but I think you have to acknowledge some of the deficiencies on their team. There's no other way around it. All three. J.K. Dobbins, we don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back.
We've only ever seen him as a rookie.
Yeah, and so who knows what he's going to be like? And again, Lamar proved. I mean, he got hurt in the pocket, but it's another a season-ending injury, and again, led the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? They still give us crap about Baker throwing picks. He's not even on the roster anymore, really. You know, and their quarterback was leading the league in interceptions at one point last year, and you'd think he was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. You know, what's really cool, though, is all four of the teams in our division have to play. Like, we all have to play the Saints. We all have to play the Jets and the Giants. So we get to kind of see how that goes. And we all get to play the Panthers. We all get to play the Buccaneers, the Patriots, the Bills. So we can kind of compare, you know what I mean, between the four teams and how they perform against those other guys.
So John had us at 14-3 with Deshaun playing every game. Mm-hmm. Say he misses the first 4 games. Does that take you guys from thinking we win the division to not winning it? What do you guys think?
I think the schedule at the beginning is very, very friendly if he is suspended. Like what are the first 4? It's Kansas, or not Kansas City, but Carolina, right?
Carolina, the Jets, the Steelers,
and Atlanta.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yep. Atlanta on the road.
I see that Thursday night game being kind of tough, but
the only reason I picked the Steelers to win that game is because I was under the assumption of a suspension. Because I think if Deshaun plays, we win that game.
We win that game, yeah. At home, yeah.
But what if it's 8? That's where we start getting murky.
Then it gets
because the Browns schedule gets significantly tougher after the Atlanta game. Chargers, Patriots, Baltimore, Cincinnati. Honestly, the easiest game in there might be New England.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could potentially see us, instead of being like 6-2 at the bye or 7-1 at the bye, all of a sudden we might be 4-4, 3-5 at the bye if he misses 8 games.
Yep. I will say this just real quick as a side about the suspension. Unless some like serious hard evidence comes out before then, what's this new committee going to, whatever they do here, they're setting a precedent for the future. So if they say they suspend him for a whole season without any evidence that's come out, it's just these accusations. Well, what happens next year whenever a video drops of some guy punching a girl in the face?
Yeah, because what's worse?
What's that suspension? Now, that's hard evidence. You know what I mean? That's not just an accusation that he hit somebody. It's on camera. So is that 2 years? At what point do we just say a guy's career is over?
Well, and it'll be interesting to see what Goodell does. If they say suspension, and then they make a recommendation 4 games, it'll be interesting to see then if Goodell comes in and says, no, I want
all of them,
16.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where it'll get interesting. I don't want to get too deep into it. But
no, I was just making a quick side note there.
I personally don't understand how there could be a suspension this year.
It's beyond me too. I don't know.
So
with the way things stand right now,
and people will say we're homers or whatever, but I don't. There's other teams who have had players in this situation that I also didn't think that they should have been suspended at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they still got suspended.
But they still got. But they still
that's
got
where
suspended.
I'm at. I'm like, I know it's a different committee and stuff like that, but like the NFL has proven that they're more of a strike first and answer questions later kind of
But I thought they were trying to avoid this kind of thing where they're suspending guys for, kind of the accusations.
I mean, we'll find out.
Yeah, we will.
Like you said, I think it is a precedent for
best case scenario. This committee comes back and says no suspension, and then Goodell, no matter what he wants to do, can't do anything.
Right. Exactly.
Which would be pretty stellar.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see what happens there. Let us know what you guys think about the AFC North breakdowns. I know we're going to get a ton of crap from Ravens fans. And honestly, we might get some crap from Bengals fans because we have them. Nobody had them finishing first in the division. They just went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Let's get into the Bengals a little bit then. We didn't really get into
They
them.
play some very, very tough games. My only reason, I know that they're going to be good, and they improved their offensive line. They still have a legit wide receiving core. To me, I don't see too many losses. As far as positional losses, I think Larry Ogunjobi, that's kind of a tough loss for them because their defense was pretty good last year. But I mean, the fact that, and you can say what you want about Kansas City, they're still going to be tough. Tennessee, say what you want. Until I see them really trend downward, they're still, they were the number one seed in the AFC.
Playoff team.
I just saw though, the guy they drafted to replace AJ Brown's having problems with asthma.
Treylon Burke.
He can't make it through a practice.
Well, they got Robert Woods too.
Coming off ACL.
I mean,
how old's Robert Woods these days?
He's got to be 28, 29-ish.
I don't know. I feel like that's a huge downgrade to go from A.J. Brown to Robert Woods.
Well, here's the thing is we're talking about, man, let's bring back Odell, and he's coming off a second ACL tear.
Yeah, to be our number 3. Not to be our A.J. Brown replacement.
Yeah, but they didn't bring Robert Woods in to replace A.J. Brown at the time.
Right. Correct. But
they didn't know.
Now, this kid played
30.
30, okay.
Coming off an ACL at 30.
Hey, Odell is.
And, Robert Woods was pretty good with Stafford before he got hurt, but Tannehill's a big drop down from Stafford.
Yeah.
A big drop down. So I pulled up the Bengals schedule from last year because we talked about, they went to the Super Bowl last year, but they kind of caught a lot of breaks. Mm-hmm. And I'm they first of all, they had some bad losses. They lost to Chicago.
Ooh.
And then barely beat Jacksonville 24-21. And I know we're talking barely beat, so W's a W in the NFL. Right. But still, there's some things on here. They lost 34-31 to the Jets last year. They got stomped by us when we were in the midst of turmoil. 41-16. Lost in overtime to the Niners, who turned out to be pretty good. Only beat the Denver 15-10. So lost to us again at the end of the year, 21-16. And then the biggest thing is they got to play Tennessee in the playoffs, who peaked early. They were definitely on the downturn. And then they got to play Vegas in the playoffs, who was probably the weakest playoff team. Everybody was shocked that they even made it there.
Yeah.
Nobody could believe they were in the playoffs. They just somehow kept getting lucky breaks and getting wins to make it. I don't think that's going to happen this year. They're playing a number 1 schedule for the conference.
Yep.
So I know Bengals fans will probably freak out. Again, don't be shocked if they win 14 games, but also don't be shocked if they win 8 or 9.
Justin, what do you have them doing against the Saints and the Cowboys? I'm just curious.
I have them losing to the Cowboys, and I have them beating the Saints. I think the Saints are kind of a...
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see.
I'd like to see, because, who knows what Michael Thomas is going to be. They have nice pieces. It's just...
Is Michael Thomas going to play?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't know. Is Kamara going to play? I haven't heard anything about that. Last time I heard, he was stomping some dude out in Vegas. So
yeah, I don't know. Time of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know if that carries a suspension. Maybe that's the precedent to set. I don't know. They got that on video, like you said.
Yeah, there you go.
So let's see what happens there. But yeah, Dallas, I have them losing. And I think that could be just a shootout. That could be a toss-up game too.
You got them losing to Dallas.
In Dallas. Yeah, I do.
That's early. That's what, week 2?
Week 2, yep.
Yep.
I'd have them winning that game.
Yeah.
I think Dallas got way worse.
We'll see. I know we got Amari, so that's awesome. I'll take it.
What about, John, where are you stand on Dak Prescott? Do you think he's that good? Because sometimes I get the sense that the people over here think he's all world.
I think he's got talent. I don't think he's elite tier quarterback, though.
You think he's top 10?
I think, like Blake said last week, a lot of his numbers are garbage time numbers. I haven't seen him do anything amazing in the playoffs. And, I don't think he's probably not top 10, but I don't have a list of quarterbacks.
Pull that list up.
Pulling it up. We're getting off topic here a little bit, but our topic's pretty much done.
An interesting thing, you were talking about Robert Woods.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, when he was with Robert Woods, who I would like to say he is, would we say he's less than Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah.
What are we saying, Blake? Talk to me, bro. Because he put up pretty much 1,100, 1,200. I mean, he put some yards up with Jared Goff, and everybody says Jared Goff sucks.
I think
but
Jared Goff was a good quarterback for the Rams. He just didn't have what McVay needed.
Well, and that was when he was younger and not coming off ACL surgery.
Bro, that was 2019, 2020.
I mean, there's a big difference between 28 and 30, isn't there?
I don't know.
28 and no ACL tear, and 30 and an ACL tear.
I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be that devastatingly bad.
I don't think
he's an upgrade from Julio Jones. I don't think you have an upgrade from AJ Brown. There's no upgrade on that. They shouldn't have made the trade. That was what they should have done. They should have kept him together, and then compliment Derrick Henry.
So do we have this pulled up yet? I'm having a hard time.
I just got that list that we used last week.
Okay, go ahead and bring that up.
Yeah.
Hit that top 10.
On this list, it's Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, Herbert, Brady, Watson, Stafford, Russell Wilson, Burrow, Kyler Murray, who's too high, by the way.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson, and Dak Prescott.
At 12.
Prescott at 12?
Mm-hmm.
I'd have Prescott ahead of Murray.
Me too.
Me personally.
Me too, bro.
So that puts him at 11 unless you also have him above Lamar.
No. No way.
Lamar's to me, he's just a
better runner.
He's a better Dak Prescott, I think.
Dak throws the ball way better than Lamar.
I think Dak is a better thrower. Dak is a better thrower than Lamar, but not that much better thrower than Lamar, in my opinion. And he is worlds better running.
Dak's been like flirting with 5,000 yards. I don't care.
Shocked.
You can't garbage time your way all the way to 5,000.
Yes, you can. Jameis Winston did it. Jameis Winston garbage timed his way to 30, and 5,000.
Okay, but they were still fighting for. I mean, they were in the playoffs last year, the Cowboys.
Their division's garbage. But I mean, they went 8-8, 10-6, 9-7, 13-3. When did he get in the league? 2000 what?
He's 19? Been in it for a few years now.
Yeah, it was probably 16, maybe.
Who do you think's better, Dak Prescott or Derek Carr?
Oh man, that's tough.
It's not. It's Derek Carr.
I would put Derek Carr on my team if I'm trying to win.
It's not hard.
He's definitely younger. How old is Derek Carr?
I'm not saying.
I think he's about 32.
I think he came out the same year as Johnny, right?
Dak?
No.
Derek Carr, yeah, because we passed on him.
Yeah. So I don't think Dak Prescott's like a bottom 10 quarterback, but he's not a top 10 either. I don't. I'd have him 10, I'd have 10. Him like 12 to 15.
Well, he's 12 on that. Would you still have Kyler Murray ahead of him?
I don't like Kyler that much.
I think Kyler Murray has like physical attributes upside that could be potentially better, but I don't think he has it here. So,
yeah, I'm with you.
Dak has all the intangibles. I just think.
I'll say another thing about Kyler since we're on this quarterback topic real quick. I do think that he's a good example of how size does kind of matter at quarterback in the NFL because I think he's just too small.
He's
too small.
These are this is Dak Prescott's rating since he joined the league. 105, 86.6, 97, 100, 100, 104.2. He's not a scrub, bro.
I didn't say he was a scrub.
So who do you want to compare to?
I'm taking Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, Herbert, Brady, Deshaun, Stafford, Wilson, Burrow, Lamar, Derek Carr, all over him.
That would be interesting.
All over him.
I think
we're going to talk about what we've done. Lamar won an MVP. I'm no Ravens sympathizer, but he won an MVP and he's won 80% of his games. Dak plays in the worst division in football, can barely make the playoffs, and is one and done all the time. And he's played with Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. I mean, he's loaded with talent and has done nothing but garbage time stats.
They're not all garbage time stats. There are real stats in there.
A lot of them are garbage time.
Not the majority.
A lot.
Okay, fine. I think the Cowboys just blow altogether.
And who's their starting quarterback?
They blew when Romo was their starting quarterback. They couldn't do it.
And no team blows with an elite quarterback, though. So even if he is top 10, he's like bottom of the top 10. So
I'm cool with that. I just think I'm not.
Who would you take out of the top 10 to put him in place of? So you got Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, Herbert, Brady, Watson, Stafford, Wilson, Joe Burrow, and then there's Kyler Murray. To me, it's too high to have Lamar at 10. So who would you take out of the top 10 and put Dak in place of?
Who was at 11?
Lamar was at 11. Kyler was at 10.
Well, definitely Kyler.
So to me, I would put Lamar in here at 9, Derek Carr in here at 10. I would put Lamar in at 10, Derek Carr in at 11, and then keep Dak at 12. To me, that's a fair ranking.
I don't have the list.
Where are you putting Kyler Murray, Blake?
Probably like a couple 13, spots 14. Down at 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there.
Okay.
He, athletically, he can be, I'm talking about Kyler Murray. He could be Lamar Jackson-esque, but I just don't see it. And he's very, very small.
Way too small.
I mean, we're talking about Lamar Jackson has the chance of getting hurt. This guy's way tinier than him.
And he does get hurt.
Yeah.
So let us know what you guys think. We didn't plan on getting into the top 10. I didn't say he sucked. At no point did I say he sucked.
I'm just kidding.
But
do you think he's better than Derek Carr?
Yeah, or no?
Send in your top 10s.
Who is better between Lamar and Dak? Tell us that. To me, that's easy. And I hate the Ravens. And that's not even close. I would pick Lamar 12 times out of 10 over Dak.
I wouldn't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't care about the MVP. I don't care.
I was going to say he's only won one playoff game. I'm pretty sure he's still won more playoff games than Dak.
I don't care.
That's crazy to me. What do you care about then?
If I and we don't need to go too much further, we're going long here, but if I had to pick a quarterback for my team right now moving forward for the next 5 years, I would pick Dak. I would not pick Lamar Jackson.
That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy to me. I had the Ravens finishing last, so if you're a Ravens fan, you were watching earlier, you're ready to mother F me, but now you're like, hey, welcome.
Yeah. Same amount of playoff wins. Dak Prescott's 1-3. I don't know what Lamar Jackson is. Aaron Butler, help me out.
1-3, I think.
So, again, I just think they're both limited throwers, and Lamar is a million times better passer or runner.
Yeah, we can fight about this on the after hours.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. If you guys want to hear us mother F each other in the after hours, make sure you jump in that. Remember to check out, it's jointhedawgs.com if you want the extra episode and you want to get into all the threads on the After Hours page, become a Dog Pack member. Thanks again for subscribing on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. If you like us on TikTok, make sure you subscribe on there. We're getting close to another milestone. We greatly appreciate it. We appreciate you guys listening in throughout the off season. You guys give us the energy to do these episodes when there's literally no football to talk about, and we somehow find a way. So we appreciate it. Thanks again for being here, and we will see you guys all next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast, and become an official Dog Pack member at jointhedawgs.com.